Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. This is a quick and detailed guide on how to complete the King's Fall raid in Destiny 2. We will go through every single encounter, including the hidden chests. To keep the video short, we will not be covering the deep side puzzle. Timestamps are in the description below. As soon as you load in, you will need to complete the opening encounter, which will require banking the two relics in front of you at the statue on the right side that is holding an orb. You will need to bank two relics at every single statue that is marked by that orb. The catch is that after banking the two relics, the next set of relics will continuously spawn further and further away the more statues you complete. After the first two relics, the next ones will be split in two. One will be on the left side of the map and the second on the right side of the map. So, split your fire team into 3 groups of 2. One group remains in the main room and clears the ads. Each time someone picks up a relic, taken doors will spawn on the left and right sides of a room, with a blight in the middle of them. Destroy the blight to open the door. In the meantime, one group will go left and the other group will go right. One person will be picking up a relic, whilst the second is responsible for opening doors and killing ads. When picking up the relic, both sides need to pick it up at the same time. The relic will prevent you from double jumping, so jump and melee continuously whilst holding the relic to move faster. When you pick it up, you have a time limit to get to the statues. Once you get there, you need to bank both relics at the correct statue within 3 seconds of each other. If you don't, or if you die or drop the relic, it will despawn back to where you picked it up. You can either have one person in each group picking up the relics, or rotate the roles between you and your partner based on whoever is closer to the spawn location. Remember, they will be spawning further and further away. The first set is in the main room. 2 sets afterwards are in and around this bridge on both sides, with the last 3 sets being inside the caves, also on both sides. Once done, clear out the ads in the room, pass the statues and go through the portal. Up next is the first jumping puzzle. Jump across these moving platforms until you get to the ships. It is easier and faster if you all travel together. Follow this exact path across to get to the other side. In some areas the ships will spawn very late, so you will need to wait until the last moment to jump off your ship and onto the next one. Once you hit this balcony, it will save you a checkpoint. Once at the top, clear out the ads in the next area. 4 people can go onto the ship and 2 will need to stay behind to activate 2 plates, 1 on each side of a room. This will make the ship move forward. Up to the left is a hidden chest, so once you get close, jump off and make your way up this incline. The walls contain spikes that can easily knock you off, so it's easier to double jump from point to point until you reach the top. Once you collect your chest, clear out the next area of ads and stand on another 2 plates on either side of a room. This will allow your 2 teammates from the first set of plates to get across. Once everyone has made it across, move towards this tunnel and up to the first encounter. The first encounter is known as Basilica, or nicknamed by the community as Totems. There are 2 ways to do this encounter. The purpose here is to collect a buff known as Death Singers, which you then need to deposit on the center plate to open the door. You will need to collect a total of 200 Death Singers until the symbols on either sides of the door are all lit up. To do this, split your team into 2 groups of 3. There are 2 rooms on either side, and inside there are plates with totems above them. So kill the ads in the middle, and person number 1 will need to pick up a buff called the brand, which spawns at the entrance of each room. This brand will allow you to collect the Death Singers buff and will protect you from the poisonous gas inside of the rooms. So pick it up, run to the plate and begin killing the ads in the room. For every ad that you kill, you will get 1 Death Singer with yellow health bar knights giving you 3 Death Singers. The right side room spawns Hive and the left side spawns Taken. Whilst inside the rooms, be aware of the ledges above you which will spawn Knights on the right and Taken Minotaurs on the left. You need to remain on the plate, because if the plate is empty for longer than 7 seconds, it will glow red and wipe the team. The brand buff that you picked up will only last for 30 seconds and you cannot leave a plate without it wiping the team. So as soon as you pick it up and run to the plate, a second person will jump onto this balcony where they will need to kill a witch. Once dead, a Taken Knight will spawn, which upon killing it will drop another buff known as the Brand Reclaimer. You will need to hold your interaction button to pick it up and then run to your teammate on the plate. Once the teammate's brand buff has 3 seconds left, person number 2 with a Brand Reclaimer will then hold their interaction button to steal the buff. Make sure you are within the brand person's white dome to be within range of taking the buff. If the person on the plate is close to running out of time, they can run off a plate towards the teammate to shorten the distance, as long as someone stands back on a plate within 7 seconds. Once you swap the buffs, number 2 will stay on the plate to collect Death Singers, whilst person number 1 runs to the middle of the room and deposits their Death Singers. You need to deposit all the Death Singers before you can kill the taken knights on the right side balcony to collect the Brand Reclaimers again. Whilst this is happening, person number 3 is on the balcony already killing their witch and knight to collect the next buff. Essentially, both teams are running a relay race in a big triangle on both sides of the room. In the middle of the room, at the pool by the door, an unstoppable ogre will be spawning in every so often. Make sure to take it out, but let the other ads run into the side room so that the people on the plates can collect the Death Singers. If someone dies on a plate, the brand will respawn at the entrance, so either person number 2 or 3 can pick it up and run to the plate for a revive. This will change the rotation, but it will salvage it. Keep rotating and depositing Death Singers until the door opens. This is known as War Priest. To do damage to him, you will need to collect a buff called Brand of the Initiate, which you can get from activating the plates. Whoever has it will have a red dome around them, which you need to be inside of in order to do damage. Split your team into 3 groups of 2. 2 on the left, 2 in the middle, and 2 on the right. First things first, clear out all the ads inside the room on both sides of the map. There will be yellow health bar wizards on the right and left that you need to kill in order for the yellow health bar knights to spawn in. Once you kill all 3 yellow health bar knights, 1 on each side, the plates will become unlocked. Try to leave the last knight in the middle so they can delay damage and have time to collect ammo and organize yourselves. Once you kill the last knight, a message will appear saying that the sequence has started. So to start damage, you need to activate all 3 plates in the correct order, otherwise it will wipe you. The last person to step on the plate will receive a damage buff. So the person in the middle jumps onto the plate first and looks for a white glow on the back of one of the 3 pillars. In this case, the pillar on the right is glowing. Once they find the correct pillar, they will call it out and jump off. This will start the sequence. Because the right pillar was glowing, that person is the first in the rotation, so they will jump on first and stay on the plate. Once their plate is activated, they will look for the next glow, which will be between the last 2 pillars. In this case, it was left side. So left side jumped on to activate their plate, leaving the middle for last by process of elimination. If the person in the middle jumps on and doesn't see a glow, that means they are number 1 and in the middle. So they then jump off, wait for the sequence to say it started, and jump back on to call the next pillar. From here, when the last person gets the buff, rotate to the right side. It doesn't matter where you do damage from as long as you are near one of the pillars. So before getting the buff, decide which pillar you are doing damage from. In this case, we decide to use the pillars on the right side and the middle first as they are the easiest. Huddle up next to the person with a buff and begin doing damage. However, the damage phase doesn't last long and it can be extended. To extend it, there will be taken knights somewhere in the room. There is a total of 2 knights to kill to extend the phase, so decide who those 2 people are. In our case, those who do the plates are also those who hunt down the knights. When you kill a knight, they will drop the Brand Reclaimer, which you need to pick up and use to take the buff from the person with a Brand Initiate. The person with a buff does a countdown, and once they reach the 2 to 3 second mark, will have the buff taken from them by the person who picked up the Brand Reclaimer. In the meantime, another person is looking for the second knight to do the same thing. If you don't use the Brand Reclaimers, then the person who picked up the Brand Initiate will die once that buff runs out. Do as much damage as you can, preferably with long range weapons. Divinity combined with linears like Stormchaser, Arbalest, and Taipan work really well. Once the damage phase is over, you need to hide behind a pillar, using the shadow of a pillar for cover, otherwise the boss will kill you. Only use 1 pillar at a time, so that you have the maximum of 4 damage phases to complete War Priest with. Once the War Priest reaches half health, all the ads will turn from Hive into Taken. Next up is another hidden chest. Make your way to these dark tunnels where there are 5 hidden plates to stand on that spawn in a hidden chest. You need to have 1 person at each of the 5 plates. As soon as you enter, go far left and keep following the hallway, and then take another left where there will be the first plate. You need to activate the plates one by one in the correct order. If they glow green, they are correct, and red flames means they are not. Turn around and go all the way down the hallway past the entrance you came from and again into the right hallway, taking another right at the end, which will lead you to plate number 1. Use the graph located in the top right as a reference point along with the order of the plates. Go left and take another left. Follow this hallway until you get to this point where there is a door. This is the middle where the chest is hidden. Keep going down the hallway until you reach the end of it. There is a series of pillars that you need to jump up onto and through a hole in the wall. Jump through, and on the other side there will be a cave with a plate in the middle known as number 4. Turn around and go back to the middle. With a door to your back, look forward and proceed up the hallway. Then take a left and go all the way down that hallway until you reach the end of it, where you need to look left again to see plate number 2. Turn around and go all the way back, following this hallway and not taking any turns. Right at the end of it is plate number 5. Activate them in the right order and make your way to the middle, where you will see the door open and the hidden chest on the other side. Turn back around and go up the hallway until you see these knights that guard the entrance to Golgoroth. This is Golgoroth. Here you will split your team into 2 groups. 2 people will be tasked with distracting the ogre, whilst the other 4 will be doing damage. First, you'll need to shoot the pool in the middle of the room to spawn Golgoroth. Once you do, everyone needs to make their way to the back of the room, where they will be getting rid of all the ads. These ads will be coming from 4 doorways, 2 on either side, along with a spawn in the middle. Once the ads are all cleared, make your way back to the beginning of the room. Once everyone is ready, damage team needs to shoot the bubble to the top left, which will drop a pool on the ground. Once dropped, damage team steps in it and does damage to the ogre by shooting him in the stomach. Precision weapons like heavy linears are excellent for this. At any point, one person amongst the damage team will get a debuff called Unstable Light. If your screen begins to have a mist around the outer edges, then run underneath the ogre's legs and stand there. The buff makes you into a cursed thrall that doesn't kill you. The explosion that will emanate from you once the timer runs out will damage Golgoroth for 500,000 damage. If you get up right between the legs, it will do 1 million. So aim for the balls. If you stand too close to your teammates, they will all die and you will survive, so they will know exactly who to blame. In the meantime, 2 people are distracting the ogre. One person shoots it in the back to get a buff called Golgoroth's Gaze. Something like a sniper or heavy linear will be sufficient to do enough damage to get the gaze. Once you have it, rotate to the front of a room and make sure to stand behind the damage team's location. The ogre will be facing whoever has the gaze, so you need to make sure it is positioned so that the damage team can shoot it in its stomach. The gaze has a time limit, and once it hits the last 3 seconds, you want the second person to be standing behind the ogre to hit it in the back to gain the gaze. Whilst the gaze is on you, the ogre will send darts after you, which you need to shoot down, otherwise they can kill you. If at any point the person holding the gaze is killed, or the buff isn't swapped in time, damage phase will end. Use the back platforms to position yourselves right behind it, and each time you take the gaze, swap sides with your partner. Just before the gaze is swapped, you want damage team to shoot down the next pool to the right. After that, the next one will spawn on the left, then right, and etc. There are 6 pools in total, and you need to use every single one for every damage phase. There is a pillar at the back of a room with 6 symbols on it. If you only use, let's say, 4 pools at the end of a damage phase, then 2 symbols will light up because you didn't use the last 2 pools. Once you use all the symbols, the ogre will wipe you. You want to shoot down each pool as the decoy team is swapping gazes. Keep doing it until the ogre is dead. Next up is another jumping puzzle known as the Wall of Dicks. Make your way down to this plate, avoiding getting yeeted off into oblivion. To the right there is a little ledge that leads to the last hidden chest. Jump onto it and bring out your ghost to reveal some hidden pathways. Follow these pathways up to the next ledge, and continue to do so until you reach this top, where there is a hole in a wall leading to the hidden chest. Once done, jump back over to the starting plate. Have one person stand on it to spawn some platforms that lead to the next ledge. On it there will be another plate which creates a set of platforms leading around the corner. Careful of the ants and the blight on the right wall. Continue around to the third plate that will create more pathways leading to the last ledge. Stand on the 4th plate, which will despawn the platforms and replace them with permanent ones. Make your way along the side and steadily begin jumping up until you reach the top ledge. Up next is Sisters. For this encounter there are 4 plates, 1 in each corner of a room. You need to use the correct 2 plates to create platforms in the sky that can be used to retrieve a relic. That relic then in turn is used to take down the shield of one of the sisters so they can kill her. You'll need to do this twice. The plate on the left is known as L1 and the plate on the right is R1. L stands for left side and R stands for right side. They are both number 1 because they are closest to the entrance. The plates at the top are known as L2 and R2. One person will be at each plate clearing the ads around it. Meanwhile, the other 2 will be known as floaters. One floater for number 1 plate and the second floater for number 2 plate. There will be a knight at one of the plates. In this case, it is L1. That means that is the starting plate. Once you kill the knight, the person responsible for L1 will stand on top of it. If you stand on the correct plate, they will glow green and red flames mark the incorrect plate. Once the knight dies, someone will get a debuff known as Torn, basically making them taken. Whoever that person is will run to the starting plate. This is where the floaters come in. In this case, the starting plate is L1. Once you stand on it, you need to look for the relic up in the sky. It will be above on one of the 3 remaining plates. In this case, it is at R2. Unfortunately, the person at R2 was torn, which makes it their responsibility to climb the platforms and collect the relic. Because they are torn, the floater for the top side of the map fills in for the plate. The person who is torn runs to the starting plate, climbs the platforms up in the sky and collects the relic by running through it. Once the relic is collected, the 2 people on the plates jump off and another knight spawns. You need to do this 3 times. You have a time limit of 2 minutes to collect all 3 relics and do damage to one of the sisters. On the 3rd relic, the person who is torn needs to interact with the relic and pick it up. Once they do, they need to drop it at the sister that isn't screaming. Go inside the dome and hold the interaction button to steal the shield. When inside the shield, you will be immune to everything. To do damage, stand on the side ledge that is opposite to the sister that you took the shield from. 1 divinity in all RPGs like Golgoroths and Warcliffe Coils are more than sufficient to kill one of the sisters. If you kill her with time still remaining, everyone needs to stay in the same position. Whoever collected the last relic has the shield, so stay next to them until the timer runs out and you have seen this white flash on your screen. Then rinse and repeat with the last sister. The timer will restart from 2 minutes once another knight spawns. If you kill the first sister, you need to one-phase the second, otherwise she will wipe you. But with RPGs and Divinity, it is easy to one-phase. Now comes the boss room. Maintain the same positions as you did before because you'll be doing the exact same thing. Except you'll be using the 3rd relic to steal a shield from a knight that will spawn in the middle. You're literally doing the same thing but with 1 extra mechanic. At the beginning, taken knights will spawn on each of the 4 plates. Kill them and Oryx will rotate around the arena until he selects a plate. He will then smack that plate and once he lifts his fist, the plate will turn green. That marks the first plate. From there you just do the same running simulation you did in the previous encounter. Except this time, ogres will emerge from the pools next to each of the 4 plates. They won't emerge all at the same time, instead they will spawn one by one in an anti-clockwise rotation from the first ogre. Kill them instantly and then look to the opposite plate for a knight that will emerge on the other side from where the ogre spawns. So for example, once you kill the ogre at L1, you then need to look for the knight at R1, and vice versa. When the ogre dies, it drops a blight on the ground that is a bomb, so kill them from a distance and leave a blight alone for the time being. You need to kill the knight before it reaches the blight, otherwise it will take it away. The less blights you have, the shorter the damage phase against Oryx. You need to collect 3 relics and in each relic run, one of the plates will be green, which marks it as the starting plate. Collect the 3rd relic and bank it at the knight in the middle, stealing the brand buff. At this point, everyone at the plates needs to stand by the blights but on the outside so that they do not activate it. If one of the people on the plates has a brand buff, then a floater will take the position at the blight, whilst the person with the buff stays in the middle. Once a message appears saying that Oryx summons the darkness, that is the cue for the 4 people to jump into their blights. You need to remain inside that blight until you see your personal name come up saying that you personally detonated a bomb. Once you see your name, you then run to the middle and begin doing damage against Oryx. The blights will detonate and the person with a brand buff protects you from the explosion. From here, use a divinity and again long range weapons like snipers and heavy linears to do damage against Oryx. Once DPS is over, one of 2 things can happen. 1. Oryx will summon knights on each of the 4 plates and will begin creating bombs at the last known positions of each of your fighting members. If this scenario happens, the people on the plates run around the plates in circles whilst the floaters find any available space at the bottom and top sides of the map and do the same. Oryx will spawn bombs at your last known position and after 3 seconds they will explode, so you need to keep on the move. If you kill the knights early on the plates, it will stop the mechanic altogether. The second scenario that can happen is you will be teleported one by one into a realm where the shadow of Oryx will try to kill you. This is the best one as you can deal additional damage to him. The realm will be positioned at the top of a room, so whoever isn't teleported over needs to stay at the top and kill as many thralls as possible before they enter into the realm. This will help the people inside the realm to focus on killing the shadow. The longer it takes, the more people get teleported. Also, there isn't any healing inside, so a healing rift from a warlock will go a long way. Once either scenario is completed, it is rinse and repeat until Oryx reaches the final stage where he will rotate to the top of a room. Here, 2 ogres will spawn at L2 and R2 plates. Kill them both and it will drop 2 more blights. 2 people, none of which have the brand buff, need to step into the blights once Oryx summons the darkness. You can either step in at the same time or do one by one to extend the damage phase. Honestly, it is simpler to do both at the same time. Once you do and you see you have detonated the bombs, then run to the middle and join in on the damage. In the meantime, everyone else can already be doing damage against Oryx by shooting him in hard before the blights even explode. And there you have it, that is how you complete the King's Fall raid from start to finish. If you have found the video helpful, then please like, share, and do not forget to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.